Habari Gani, Mainduga na Dada. This is your elder, General Abu Amin Ra. My brothers and sisters, I would like to speak with you for just a moment or two to see if I can explain the differences and causes between the blessings of the white race and the pain and suffering of the black race within the context of the United States of America. Listen, my brothers and my sisters, for every effect, there is a cause. Let's talk about the cause of the white race being in a privileged position and owning most of the wealth, the bulk of the wealth in the United States of America. Then on the other side, let's talk about the African man, or black man and woman, descendants of the captive people who were made slaves in the United States of America. And see if we can understand what causes their lack of wealth and their pain and their suffering. First, with the white people, are you aware that the USA government invited Europeans to come to the United States of America, promised them free land? And then after they became citizens, they qualified for business loans and started businesses, getting most of their capital from a place we do not yet understand, but that I shall explain for you the direct location from which it came. Then, my brothers and sisters, let's look at the African man and woman, the captive African man and woman, the descendants of the chattel slaves in the United States, and see if we can understand why it is their wealth is so low. But let me see if I can explain this to you, my brothers and sisters. Listen. What they did to our ancestors, my grandparents and your grandparents and greats, is they worked them from sun up to sundown, a minimum of 6 days per week, for approximately 250 years. Gave them enough food to keep them alive so that they could keep working them. Just enough, about as well as they gave their animals, their cattle, etc., to keep them alive. But my brothers and sisters, let me explain how the game came down in the final analysis. Listen, I'm analogizing now. There was a man and woman who did no work most of their lives, but amassed a lot of wealth from the labor they exploited from the African people who were consigned to a level the same as property. So all the profits from this labor went to them. Now listen, on the other side, the African people, my ancestors, they're the ones who worked the land 6 days a week, sun up to sundown. When the end came, this is the story of the game. The man and the woman who did no work, they came to an end and they died. And when they died, their descendants, through inheritance, received all kinds of resources and businesses, financial institutions. Then when the black man and woman who had worked all of their lives, all day long, every day of the week, except sometimes on Sunday when they got their religious education, they were on their deathbed. And when they died, their children received nothing because there was nothing to receive, because the descendants of the slave masters had what belonged to them. So that's the position and condition of the black man and black woman vis-a-vis the white man and the white woman in the United States of America. Were brought here to serve as slaves. They came here because of promises of free land and business prospects. So you see, my brothers and sisters, I hope you can understand the cause for every effect. I've given you the cause of this horrendous effect upon us as a people. And also likewise with that of the descendants of the slave masters. My brothers and sisters, you should demand what is yours. Your ancestors' wealth they produced. Do you know how much wealth they produced? They produced so much wealth that America arose out of it. Plus their labor. America still standing on their backs. Listen, you must stand up and demand what is yours by any law anywhere on the planet. And my brothers and sisters, you must ask politely at first. You use political means to acquire it. And if they do not become converted to righteousness and do the right thing and provide you with your reparations, then you do whatever is necessary to get your reparations, but you must get your reparations. The wealth your ancestors left behind for you. You understand what I'm saying? If you do, my brothers and sisters, all I want to say is, once again, get your game together and realize we are some of the strongest people in the world individually and collectively. We've proven how strong we are. Think of what would happen if we joined hands with all that strength and what we could do and what effects we would have on the world. Think about it, my brothers and sisters. We're poor because they made us poor. And we made the decision to remain poor because we will not stand up and do the right thing and demand what is ours. And if it is not provided, then take what is ours. Once again, peace and hotep to you, my Nduga na Dada.